What's good, Internet? My name is attackslug, and welcome to my WWE Clash of Champions 2016 predictions video. As always, let me know what you think is going to happen on the show down in the comments below, and I will get to my hopefully not too long-winded discussion on what's going to happen here on this Sunday in 2 nights at the first exclusive, not the first, but, you know, the first post-new brand split exclusive Raw pay-per-view, and we kick off on the kickoff show with Alicia Fox versus Nia Jax. Come on now, Nia Jax. There's no reason, if they're building Nia Jax like they're building Braun Strowman, they're eventually going to move up the ladder of the opponents, as you've done in the past with guys like Rusev and Ryback, or whatever. You start off with the jobbers and then you move up. So, Alicia Fox, you are next on the list, and Nia Jax is going to squish you good. Anyway, moving on to the next match, it is Chris Jericho versus Sami Zayn. And he's fighting him because he wants to fight the ex-best friend as the new best friend of your Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. And I think I'm going to go with what they more or less said was the original plan for Finn Balor when he was the champ, and he was going to be, you know, the guy for a little while at least, before, you know, fucking they give it back to Roman. And they were going to have him fight Owens first, and then they were going to have him fight, like, Owens and Jericho, or just Jericho. At some point, there was, you know, Owens and Jericho both involved in the the Universal title picture. So I think Jericho goes over here, and then this best friendship explodes or something, and then we have Owens defending that belt against Jericho, perhaps at whatever the October Raw pay-per-view is. So I'm calling Jericho. I could be wrong, but, you know, that's just kind of my feeling on it, is that they've altered their plans a little bit, but not completely. They're so kind of on this more or less the same roadmap since Finn Balor had that unfortunate injury. So, moving on, we have Cesaro versus Sheamus. The final match in the best of 7. Our long national nightmare is over on this shit, and whoever wins this gets a title opportunity. They didn't say for which title, so certainly it could be for the U.S. title, and not necessarily the Universal title. Or they say, hey, we're bringing back the hardcore belt, have fun fighting for the hardcore belt. I don't know. Anyway, I think it'd be kind of dumb to have Cesaro down 3, and then win back 3, and then lose to Sheamus. But they could also do something here completely stupid, have like a double countout or some nonsense ending, which is also possible. But I think the story here is the come-behind win from Cesaro, who, you know, was down 3, wins 3, tiebreaker, and wins that last match at the pay-per-view. So I'm calling Cesaro, but watch him do something stupid. You know, that's always possible. So, moving on from that, we have your first Cruiserweight Championship title defense for TJ Perkins here against the Brian Kendrick, and that is for the Cruiserweight title. And honestly, this is a hard one to call, because I think the story they're doing here with Kendrick is compelling. I was gone for 7 or 8 years, and now I'm back. I'm an old man now. This is my last chance, or could be my last chance. But I don't think you give the belt to TJ Perkins. He just won it from the Cruiserweight Classic. I don't think you take the belt off of him that early. I think it's important to have a name people might recognize, like Brian Kendrick, in this match, to get folks who perhaps wouldn't care to pay more attention to it. But I think at the end of the day, it'll be a fantastic match, and I think that TJ Perkins will retain the title. So, moving on from there, we have your WWE World Tag Team Champions, The New Day, fighting Gallows and Anderson, a.k.a. The Club, and yet another defense for The New Day. And I've called The New Day in the past, I don't know, like 8 predictions videos that they were just going to keep the belt. And again, until you even the odds on the numbers game, they still have Xavier Woods. That is their, you know, the one thing. I mean, Xavier and Francesca. Francesca 2. I'm sorry. So, again, it's still the numbers game. So, again, I think New Day retains. I think because they keep mentioning that they're going to, you know, getting close to breaking that record for holding the tag team titles. I think they just might break that record because, honestly, I don't see it going to the club as much as that might shake things up just a little bit. So, in any event, New Day retains yet again. The Raw Women's Championship match, it is Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Bayley. And this one, I think, is one of the harder ones on this show to call just because they took off the belt off of Sasha because of that back injury that didn't really require surgery at SummerSlam. And because of that injury, they took her off TV for a bit, and that was their reasoning for finally bringing up Bayley to the main roster. So, do you have Bayley go into her first like major pay-per-view match on the main roster, and then lose? Like, does that make any sense in terms of you want to build new stars and all that other stuff for your main roster audience? Does that make any sense? But again, like, where does that leave Charlotte? Where does that leave Sasha? Where does that leave Dana Brooke? Where's Emma? Maybe the smart money isn't picking Bayley, but I'm going to pick Bayley. And I think they'll see how the crowd reacts and see how that goes. Oh, reverse Superman punch. See how the crowd feels about that match. And perhaps they'll go with Bayley, but certainly it wouldn't surprise me. Like, they were most likely going to give Sasha a longer run, but if they think she's injury prone, then they totally won't do it. But certainly that's who you're building your division around on Raw, so I think that Bayley seems the most likely. But I can almost guarantee that if either Charlotte or Sasha wins this match, that Bayley will not be the one getting pinned here. They're going to keep her strong, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Anyway, speaking of keeping somebody strong, here is the match that I'm sure they want you to think is the main event, but is not actually the main event. It is Roman Reigns versus Rusev for the U.S. title. And man, if you ask the casual fan, if you ask someone who didn't actually watch wrestling, and you made them watch a Raw from the past couple of months, and you ask them, hey, who's the main character on Raw? They're going to say, hey, Roman Reigns, because he is fucking everywhere. And the question again still is, how fast do they want to shoot him back into the the Universal, I keep fucking it up, title scene, and will they give him the U.S. title? Will we get another Alabama Slammer bullshit finish like they didn't even have a match at SummerSlam? But granted, SummerSlam was in Brooklyn, and it's smarter to not have Roman Reigns in a ring for a long time in Brooklyn because they were just going to boo him anyway. So, don't know how the crowd's going to react here, but I do know that you make him look strong. I don't know if Rusev retains here. Like, I want to say that he would, only because you want to shoot Roman back into the Universal title picture. But that depends on, how they feel about him in terms of being still the face of Raw. So, I'm going to go on the outside here and say Roman wins, LOL. I think they've been in this feud this long. I don't know what else to do with it outside of having Roman Reigns win that U.S. title. That's not going to make people cheer for him. But I feel like they might finally pull the trigger on that, let Owens have his run a little bit longer. And then I guess the problem then is getting the U.S. belt off of Roman, because that's not going to make him look strong, you guys. That's kind of the biggest conundrum here, is that they don't want to believe on him losing in any kind of a convincing, clean fashion, because make him look strong. So, Reigns wins U.S. title. Might not happen, but that's my actual prediction for this show. So, moving on to the actual... Oh, hey, the video game thinks Rusev's going to retain. How about that? Rusev Utria, Rusev Machka. So, moving on to your actual main event, we have your Universal Champion Kevin Owens defending against the Architect Seth Rollins. And this match, really, you gotta kind of wonder what's going to happen in terms of interference, what's going to happen in terms of Triple H, and you have to question, moving forward, what the plan is for Owens as, supposedly the top guy on the show. Although we all know that Roman Reigns is the top guy on the show. Fucking come on now. So, that being said, I don't really have a long-winded, description here, whatever. I think Owens retains, and you move him on to Chris Jericho next. I don't think you like, really, outside of Rollins and Reigns and Jericho, who else are you going to have him fight in the near future? Like, that, I'm not sure who else is on that level for challenging as a top guy on Raw. Certainly not Big Cass. Come on now. So, yeah, I think Owens retains here. I don't think they're going to give him a little short run. I think certainly they're going to advance the story with Triple H and Rollins that will eventually build to Triple H and Rollins at a pay-per-view at some point, perhaps Mania. I don't know. Mania's a ways off here. Where it's only September, so that's a long build for anything. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Triple H show up in some capacity, or perhaps J&J Security or something. I don't know. If you had J&J Security show back up and also turn on Rollins, that would be hilarious. That would be so fucking perfect. Anyway, that's it for the predictions, you guys. Thanks for sticking around. As always, more videos every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on this channel. And I'm out.